Welcome to Career Journeys, a series of videos by the Consortium for Public Education. Here we explore the career experiences and pathways of professionals from a wide variety of careers to help you think about the skills you'll need and the paths you might take after high school.
Hi, I'm Debbie Pixton with the Consortium for Public Education. Today I'm interviewing Edith, Director of Programs and Policy Implementation at Education Systems Center, based at Northern Illinois University. Thank you for joining us, Edith.
Thank you, Debbie.
Edith, tell me about Systems Center and your role there. What do you do as Director of Programs and Policy Implementation?
So Education Systems Center is a policy development and program implementation center within the Division of Outreach, Engagement, and Regional Development at Northern Illinois University. Our mission is to support and strengthen education and workforce systems that prepare more young people for productive careers in a global economy. And my role as Director of Programs and Policy Implementation is to work with communities across the state that are implementing these policies that we develop to strengthen the alignment from high school into post-secondary. I am also responsible for fundraising. The center is self-funded, so we seek funding from private foundations and state agencies for our own operations. And we also funnel these funds to communities so that they can implement these strategies that help prepare students for careers and life after high school. And we also do some work in Tanzania on career awareness, which I lead.
Edith, how did you end up in this role? What was your path?
I grew up in Kenya at a time when public education was not free, and I saw the impact that education had had in my life. So I knew from an early age that I wanted to be involved in the kind of work that would have an impact on children and young people, to sort of pay it forward. I was also involved in sort of the social welfare club when I was in high school, and this had a real impact on me in helping me see the sort of results that you can have when you support other people. But I've enjoyed having different roles that have complemented each other. I started out working for a nonprofit here in Chicago where I led training workshops for parents in Chicago public schools, and I led a youth leadership development program. But I wanted to understand how nonprofits got their funding. And so I spent a couple of years doing grant writing for a couple of nonprofits, and then wanted to see how decisions were made about funding nonprofit organizations. So I worked in philanthropy, where I was responsible for doing due diligence for nonprofits in Illinois and making funding recommendations for those nonprofits. I also had some time in Ghana, where I worked for a policy institute, and all these experiences have really prepared me for this current role.
What do you love about what you're doing now?
So one of the things I really enjoy about my job is that we work both at a systems level and at the community level. So when I say systems, I mean we work with state agencies like the Illinois Board of Education, the Illinois Community College Board, to develop policies. And then we work with communities to ensure that they have the tools and resources they need to implement these policies to make sure that students are successful. And that bidirectional approach is really important and interesting to me, and really keeps me motivated.
Tell me about the work in Tanzania. How does that fit with the work you're doing in Illinois?
So in Tanzania, we've been working on career awareness, working with different stakeholders to identify what are high growth sectors in the region, in the Mara region of Tanzania, and how do we make sure that students are prepared for jobs in those areas, and helping students understand what skills and experiences they need. If, for example, someone wants to pursue a career as an agricultural engineer or as a teacher or in the IT sector. And we've developed an after-school program that uses the 4-H model. We work in partnership with an organization called Tanzania Development Support that's working with the school to implement those programs. And we are seeing really good results. It's changing the way students think about their careers and helping them understand what skills they need. It's helping teachers be more hands-on in the kind of work that they do in the classroom, because this is an after-school program that's really designed to use a very hands-on approach.
Edith, what are some skills that you have that make you especially good at your job?
So I think in order to be successful in this job, you need to have strong communication skills, so strong writing and strong speaking skills. You also need to be a team player. Most of my work is done in partnership with other people, and you need to be good at building relationships and managing those relationships. You also need good time management skills because proposals often have a deadline, right? And so do reports. And you need to be able to stay on top of that so that you don't miss those deadlines. And you also need strong analytical skills. We often have to look at a really large amount of information and make sense of it. And so I would say that those are some of the critical skills.
What has surprised you about your job now or your career, different jobs in your career path and that you wouldn't have anticipated?
So I've been surprised at how willing people are to work across sectors to improve outcomes for young people. One of the approaches that we use is this idea that no one entity is responsible for making sure that students are successful. So whether it's in Tanzania or whether it's here in Illinois, we make sure that we work with folks from different sectors. So from the workforce sector, the education sector, the nonprofit sector, we use this approach, the collective impact approach that ensures that folks from different sectors come together to solve difficult social problems. And it's been really pleasantly surprising to see how willing people are to bring their resources and their time to bear in order to improve outcomes for students. And in particular, during this time of COVID-19, we have organized webinars, and folks have been extremely generous with their time and with their resources to ensure that other communities benefit from some of the best practices that they're implementing within their own community.
Edith, you work at an interesting intersection of policy, education, and human services. Can you talk about what a student who's interested either in this particular intersection or any one of those fields, what they might do while they're in high school to prepare?
So I think that seeking internship opportunities whenever possible would be super helpful in giving a student a good idea of what this job looks like day to day, or a volunteer opportunity, or doing a job shadow. We actually host high school interns at our organization, and this really gives them some good insight into the work, right? So they have an opportunity to participate in meetings with the rest of the team. They are able to lead some of the work. And so I think those strategies can be very helpful in helping students see if this is an area that they want to pursue. Another thing I would recommend is talking to folks who work in this field and getting an understanding from them about what this really looks like. For me, one of the things that has been really helpful is having mentors who have talked to me about these kinds of opportunities and explaining to me the tasks and the roles involved in it. So that gave me a good idea of what to expect.
If I'm a high school student and I'm thinking about pursuing a career in this field, what kinds of questions should I ask myself to know if this might be a good fit for me?
So I think you should ask yourself, am I motivated by making a difference for other young people? Do I like writing? Do I like public speaking? Do I like working in teams? Am I flexible? Because with this job, you have to really be able to change things as the environment changes. Like in this particular context of COVID-19, we've had to change our approaches to use webinars instead of in-person meetings. So I think those are some of the qualifications that I would encourage.
Edith, what's one piece of advice you would give to anyone aspiring to do this kind of work?
I would really go back to this idea of doing an internship or finding a volunteer opportunity. That, to me, I think can be really critical in helping you identify whether this is a field that you want to pursue. At our center, we say that college is a very expensive career exploration strategy. And so really thinking about this and seeking these kinds of opportunities while you're in high school can be really important.
Edith, thank you so much for sharing your time with us today.
Thank you, Debbie. It's been a pleasure.
For more information or to learn about other careers in the Career Journey series, visit our website and check back soon for our next installment. Thanks!